Hey guys, so I know I am usually making videos on Thursday, which by the way, you keep asking when will be another video. Thursday, that's when I'm uploading the videos. But Modi ji, Prime Minister Modi ji, was in the United Nations talking to the entire world, which is something really interesting. So I decided I'm gonna watch it with you. So let's watch Modi ji speech in the United Nations.
The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India. May I request protocol to escort His Excellency.
Okay, where is he? Okay. When things are live, or is like taking way too long. By the way, I love this hand gesture. This is so much better than just like
I have
waving to
great
people.
pleasure in welcoming His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India. I invite him to address the General Assembly.
नमस्कार साथियों
Good morning, friends.
Oh, this is why I'll understand it because it has the same
His
thing they hear in
Excellency
the
Mr.
headphones.
Abdullah Shahid. First of all, I would like to warmly congratulate you on assuming the office of President of the UNGA. Your becoming president is a matter of pride for all developing countries and in particular for small island developing states. Mr. President, for the last 1.5 years, the world has been grappling with the worst pandemic it has seen in 100 years.
Yeah, we're living in a crazy time.
I pay tribute to all those who have lost their lives
Oh, that's
in the
nice of
deadly
him.
corona pandemic.
He's like, first of all, addressing this
And
major thing.
I express my condolences to their families.
Which is nice of him.
Mr. President, I represent a country that is proud to be known as the mother of democracy. We have had a great tradition of democracy that goes back thousands of years. On 15th of August this year, India entered the 75th year of its independence. Our diversity is the identity of our strong democracy. It is a country that has dozens of languages, hundreds of dialects,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That
different
you guys have all of
lifestyles and
this.
cuisines. This is the best example of a vibrant democracy. The strength of our democracy is demonstrated by the fact that a little boy who at one time used to help his father at his tea stall at the railway
Oh, he's
station
talking about
is
himself.
today addressing the United Nations General Assembly for the 4th time as Prime Minister of India.
It is pretty cool.
I will soon have spent 20 years serving my countrymen as head of government, first as the longest serving Chief Minister of Gujarat and then as Prime Minister for the last 7 years. And I am saying this to you from my own experience. Yes, democracy can deliver. Yes, democracy has delivered. Mr. President, today is the birth anniversary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, the proponent of Ekatma Manav Darshan. Ekatma Manav Darshan means integral humanism, or the development journey undertaken together, the expansion from the self to the universe.
That is really pretty.
Expansion of the self, moving from the individual to society, to the nation, and to entire humanity. And this philosophy is dedicated to Antyodaya. The modern day definition of Antyodaya is where no one is left behind. It is with this principle in mind that India today is moving forward on the path of integrated, equitable development. Our priority is that development should be all-inclusive, all-pervasive, universal, and one that nurtures all. During the last 7 years, India has brought over 430 million people who were previously unbanked into the banking system.
I don't know what I feel about this because
Today,
I don't really
over
like banks.
360 million people who earlier could not even imagine this was possible now have insurance coverage as security.
Oh, okay, so
By giving over
that is a
500
good
million
thing.
people the facility of free treatment in hospitals, India has given them access to quality health services. By building 30 million proper homes, India has made homeless
Impressive.
families homeowners. Mr. President, polluted water is a very big problem, not just for India, but for the entire world, and in particular for poor and developing
This is why
countries.
when Modi ji came to visit us in Israel, we actually showed him how we make our
In
bad water
order
and
to
making
address
them
this challenge
drinking,
in
like
India,
good drinking
we
water.
are carrying out a very big campaign to ensure that piped clean water reaches over 170 million homes.
See, this is cool because this is
Reputed
something I
institutions of the
know
world
our government
have
has
said
created
that
together,
for the
like
development
work
of any
together
country,
to teach and learn from each
people
other.
must have property rights to their home and land. That is, ownership records are a must. In the most developed countries, there are a large number of people who do not have property rights to their land and homes. Today, we are using drones in India to map over 600,000 villages. And by doing so, we are giving people there digital records of their homes and land.
Okay, that makes sense.
These digital records not only reduce property disputes, but will also give people increased access to credit and bank loans. Mr. President, today every sixth person in the world is Indian. When Indians make progress, it also gives an impetus to the development of the world. When India grows, the world grows.
Makes sense.
When India reforms, the world transforms. The science and technology-based innovations taking place in India can make a big contribution to the world. The scalability of our tech solutions and their cost-effectiveness are both unparalleled. Over 3.5 billion transactions are taking place every month in India through our Unified Payment Interface, UPI. India's vaccine delivery platform, CoWIN, offers digital support to register the administration of millions of vaccine doses in a single day. Mr. President, the India that puts into practice the principle of Seva Parmo Dharma, which means service is the highest religion, is today putting all efforts into vaccine development and manufacturing despite its limited resources.
I love that he's like
I would
coming
like
back
to
to,
inform
the big
the
problem
UNGA
that we are
that
suffering
India
right now,
has
like
developed
everywhere in the world.
the world's first DNA vaccine. And this vaccine can be administered to anyone above the age of 12. Another vaccine, an mRNA vaccine, is in the final stages of development. Indian scientists are also working on the development of a nasal vaccine for the coronavirus.
Oh, cool.
Deeply conscious of its responsibility towards mankind, India has resumed the process of providing vaccines to those who need it in the world. Today, I also extend an invitation to vaccine manufacturers from across the world. Come, make vaccine in India.
Mr. President, all of us are well aware how important technology is in the lives of people today.
The voice has
However,
changed, right?
in this ever-changing world, it is equally
In this
important
ever-changing
to
world,
ensure
the voice
technology
is changing.
with democratic values. No matter which country the doctors, innovators, engineers, and managers of Indian origin live in, our democratic values inspire them to continue serving mankind. And this is a spirit that we have indeed seen during the corona pandemic also. Mr. President, the corona pandemic has also taught another important lesson to the world, that the global economy needs to be diversified even further.
Yes.
And for this, expansion of global value chains is necessary. Our Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant India movement, is inspired by this very spirit. India is becoming a democratic and reliable partner for global industrial diversification. And in this movement, India has struck a better balance between both economy and ecology.
That's a nice line.
I'm sure that you all also feel proud of the efforts made by India with regard to climate change compared to those made by big and developed nations. Today, India is moving forward with great speed towards its target of 450 gigawatts of renewable energy. We have also started work on making India the world's largest green hydrogen hub. Mr. President, we are answerable to our future generations. When they ask, when it was time to take decisions, what were those people doing? Those people whose responsibility it was to give direction to the world. Today, the world is facing an increased threat of regressive thinking and extremism.
Okay. I think I know where this is
In
going.
such a situation, the entire world must make science-based, rational, and progressive thinking the basis for development.
Yep.
In order to strengthen a science-based approach, India is promoting experience-based learning. In India, in schools, thousands of adult tinkering labs have been set up. We have also set up incubators, and a strong startup ecosystem has been developed. On the occasion of the 75th year of its independence, when we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Festival, India is going to launch 75 satellites into space that are being made by Indian students in schools and colleges.
I mean, it's cool,
Mr.
but
President,
why?
on the other hand,
What's the purpose of this?
countries with regressive thinking that are using terrorism as a political tool, these countries must understand that terrorism is an equally big threat for them also. It is absolutely essential to ensure that Afghanistan's territory is not used to spread terrorism and for terrorist attacks.
Okay, like,
We
he's
also-
right, but Afghanistan is like,
We also need
Afghanistan
be
is like
alert
big now, but like,
and ensure
you know, Hamas
that no
was
country
here, Hezbollah
tries
was
to
here
take
for, like,
advantage
a long time,
of
and
the
people
delicate
are just, like,
situation
being
there
silent about this.
and use it as a tool for its own selfish
It's kind of make me
interests.
feel like if
At
the
this time,
Taliban will rule Afghanistan
people
for the
of
last,
Afghanistan
like, for I don't know, 20
the
years,
women
like
and children
like from now
of
till
Afghanistan,
20 years,
the
then
minorities of
people will say
Afghanistan
like, oh, it's
need
okay,
help.
just like what's happening with the
And we
Hamas.
must fulfill our duty by
Like
providing
suddenly the
them
terror
with this help.
organization is
Mr.
like
President,
okay with
our
some
oceans,
people.
our oceans are also our shared heritage. And that is why we must keep in mind that we must only use ocean resources and not abuse them. Further, our oceans are also the lifeline of international trade. We must protect them from the race for expansion and exclusion.
Yep.
The international community must speak in one voice to strengthen a rule-based world order. The broad consensus reached in the Security Council during India's presidency shows to the world the way forward for maritime security. Mr. President, the great diplomat of India, Acharya Chanakya, said this hundreds of years ago, Kalati kramat, kal eva phalam pivati. When the right action is not taken at the right time, then it is time itself that causes the action to fail. If the United Nations wants to remain relevant, it will need to improve its effectiveness and enhance its reliability.
I love the fact that he actually went there and said
Today,
that. It's
all
like
kinds of
such a big
questions are being raised
criticism of the
about the
way they
UN.
are operating.
We have seen such questions being raised related to the climate crisis, and we also saw them during COVID. The proxy war going on in many parts of the world, terrorism, and the recent Afghan crisis have further highlighted the seriousness of these questions. With regard to the origin of COVID or regarding the ease of doing business rankings, institutions of global governance have damaged the credibility they had built, which was a result of decades of hard work. It is essential that we constantly strengthen the UN in order to safeguard global order, global laws, and global values.
I mean, I respect
would like
that, but I'm
to
kind of
end
scared
my
that this
address
will be,
with the words
one,
of the
one
Nobel
rule for
laureate,
everyone, and everyone
Gurudev
will have under the
Rabindranath
same big
Tagore.
umbrella and not actually be able to be who they
Shubho
want to be.
Kormapothe. Shubho Kormapothe Dhoro Nirbhayogan. Shob Durbol Shonyosh
Okay, I can fully hear him saying
which
this.
means boldly proceed on your path of good deeds. May you overcome all weaknesses and doubts. In the context of the current times, this message is as relevant to every responsible nation as it is to the United Nations. I'm confident that our efforts will enhance peace and harmony in the world and will make the world healthy, safe, and prosperous. With these good wishes, I thank you all. Namaskar.
I love the fact that he was talking in his own language and didn't, spoke English. I kind of have a problem with people who are, leaders who are going to the United Nations and talking, because in all of those speeches, it's just like, we should work together. It's just like making me feel, this is why I love to talk to the citizens of the country and not the government, because I kind of feel like this is all so political, and when like they're thinking 5 steps ahead on how this will look and how that, and just like without being actual people. But I do understand that this is important. I love the fact that he came there and spoke in his native language and did not use English. It was kind of difficult for me to understand why he's saying while the girl is like reading the line and I can hear her changing the paper, and just like I don't know what he was actually saying. Please let me know if this translating girl was like on point. But from the things he said, like when he was talking about the water pollution and stuff, this is a really cool thing because he actually came to Israel, and when Modi ji was in Israel, um, our former Prime Minister Bibi Benjamin Netanyahu showed him what we are doing with the ocean's water, how we are making sure that our people will have clean water from water that are not, I don't know, water from the sea. You don't really go to the sea and start drinking, but we have the technology and the machines to create this from the ocean water, clean water. And this is something Modi ji was really interesting in hearing when he was here. I also have a video about this, so I don't know, link somewhere. So it was interesting to see that the things he said he is really wants to learn. It's actually the things he is talking about to the United Nations. He is actually proceeding in what he is saying. This is really cool and amazing. Now, with everything he said last about Afghanistan, like I said, the Hamas started like this, the Hezbollah started like this. 20 years from now, if the Taliban will not, if someone will not stop the Taliban, this will be a legit organization. People will not look at the Taliban as a terror organization, and people will look at the people of Afghanistan as they have to be part of this organization. This is really scary because I've seen what is happening. I know what will happen to those people, and this is why it's sad and it's crazy and it's absolutely insane that we're already familiar with the history of what is going to happen to those people unless we're going to stand up and fight for their rights to just be people, to just live their lives. So he was talking about a lot of different things. He was talking about the COVID-19 problem, talking about the water pollution problem, the terror problem. He was putting so much into this, but the point, like the main thing that I got from this, honestly, I don't know how India is as far as COVID-19. I don't know how India is with terror. I know India is fighting terrorists, and they have a lot of times, like I'm talking to people who are in the Indian army, people that are their brothers and families are in the Indian army, which is very interesting for me to also hear. Also people from Kashmir, to hear about your experiences and to see if this is similar to my experience as a person who lives in Israel, which has like so many terror attacks, war zone, but it is a nice place and you should come visit. The main thing I am taking from this entire speech from Modi ji is that I have so much more respect for him now, just because the fact that when he was here, he was asking questions about how can we make the water better, and then when he's going to the United Nations and he is again talking about the water, I can see that this is something he is actually wanting to solve. This is just not, something you say for political reasons, like holding a child in the picture and smiling, or like taking a picture with a puppy or something like this. This is actually something that it is important to him, and I think this is pretty amazing. So I have so much more respect for him now. Even though I told you I like people, not governments, but still this small thing, the fact that he is actually focusing on this one problem and he's keep mentioning it and learning about it, this is amazing for me. I have so much more respect for him right now. So yeah, I'm sorry this was a long video, but thank you so much if you watched until here. Write down in the comments what did you think about him. Maybe I'll put in the description the original speech in Hindi without the girls like translating everything he is saying, because honestly I'm really scared I missed out for so many parts just because they're reading from I don't know what, like papers. This is weird, like use tablets or something. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.